The divine being must be addressed using the divine language. The infinity being must be addressed using the infinity language. The profession of faith, the creed, it begins with the words, I believe in one God, the Father Almighty. I've just put together a few words to formulate sentence, and I'm able to communicate with you language that is understandable. We human beings do this every day when we are communicating ordinarily with one another. We also employ these same words when we are communicating with other creatures which are not humans. For example, animals. We communicate with our dogs. We communicate with our cats. We communicate with our cattle. We are able to put together words and formulate a language, and we are able to understand our animals, and the animals are also able to understand us. Now the problem comes when we are communicating with a divine being. We want to use the same words. We will use the same words that we are communicating with one another, and we know the meaning of those words. We use them to communicate with the divine being, and we want the meaning to still remain the same. But it mustn't be like that. Definitely, it must be different when we are talking of divine being, in this case, who is God. We must understand that our knowledge of God is limited. So our language about Him is also equally limited, and therefore there is no way we as limited creatures with a limited words and languages can fully express with limitless language. We cannot use limitless language or divine language to express fully the mysteries of God. Because the reason we have no access to that divine language, we have no access to that infinity language, we have no access to limitless words. God created us and He transcends all creatures. So our language is using what we call human mode of expression, and is unable to express Him, is unable to express God, even in His infinity simplicity. What am I saying? This is the reason why if you go to church, if you go to a Catholic church, when they are celebrating their liturgical celebration, the language which you hear them using in those celebrations, it looks like a foreign language. It is not the language that we use in our everyday communication with one another. It is not language that you found being used ordinarily or commonly in the street. It is foreign. It is what we call heavenly language. Yes, it is heavenly language which they use. Even their music, even some of the things which they do to express themselves is not the same things which they do when I am communicating with you, or I am communicating with my brother or someone whom I have just met in the street or anywhere. I cannot use that language. But if you go to the Catholic Church, you will hear that language and you will understand, no, this language is not ordinary language. So back to the creed. We started the creed by the word I. We use this word I every day when we are communicating with each other. And the minute I use the word I am referring to myself. I'm referring to me personally. But when it comes to the creed, it is not the same. The meaning is not the same. The I in the creed and the I that I use when I'm communicating with one another every day is different. It is totally different. So this is the sense that I want us to understand here. The I does not refer to myself as if I am the one who's going to be responsible for everything that I'm going to do or say or propose. After that words, I. But when I'm talking to you ordinarily, you must understand, if I say I, there's thing with the words or the action or whatever I'm going to say after I is going to point back to me. So the I of the creed does not mean that. It is the I of the church. It is not our personal I. It is not my I. Yes, I say I believe, but it is not my. It is the I of the church. It is the church which can only use or can only definitely say I. It is the church which professes personally by each believer. You understand now? It is the I of the church. It is the church who is professing personally I, but is doing so in union with all the believers everywhere of the world. So that I is not my personal I, because if you look, the words which comes after I, the actions which comes after I, or whatever is going to happen after that I, is not personally my doing. So it is the I of the church, because it is the church who believes first. Then the church bears us, or it carries all of us personally, as if I am the only person who the church is handing over that belief or the faith or that affirmation. Or it is the church now which gives me the responsibility. It gives me, is authoring me to use its I as if it's mine personally. So here is where the element of me personally comes in. But the I of the creed is not my I. Everything you say I, it is the I of the church, because it is the church that confesses the Lord. I was not born confessing the Lord. I was not born a believer. No one was born believing. So how can I say I as if I am the first cause of my belief? No. This belief that I have, the faith that I have, it was handed over to me by the church. It is the faith of the church. It is the belief of the church. It is the church which is professing I. I come in and also in conjunction with the church profess what the church has given me. What am I saying here? If I am the first cause of something, if let's say I invented something, I am the inventor of this thing. I invented it. Personally, me, with my knowledge, my everything. I can allow someone who comes after me to use this thing as if he or she is the first one to invent it, or the first cause of that thing to happen. Then I can allow him to continue using it. I can allow him to continue to put the word I on that. This is what the church is doing us. This is what the church is saying to us. The I in the Apostles' Creed, I believe in one God. The I is not my personal I. It is the I of the church. It is the church who professes first. It is the church which first confesses the Lord. It is the church who believes first. That is why there's only one faith. That is why there's only one Lord. That is why there's only one baptism although there are so many languages, there are so many words, so many cultures, and many peoples and many nations. This is why there is one faith, one baptism, and one Lord. It is the eye of the church. The eye is the eye of the church, professed personally by each believer in union with one who professed first, who is the church, and allows us to claim that as if I am the one who is the first to profess Christ. I know this is too much and sometimes it is difficult to understand, but you can hear this is the language that we use when I'm communicating with you every day. I use the word I, and the minute I use the word I, everyone understands that I mean me, I mean myself, I mean personally. But when I am addressing, when we are speaking about God, I can use the same word I, like in the creed, but it doesn't mean I'm referring to myself, I'm referring to me personally. It is the I of something which comes first, which is the church. Welcome. This is Exposing Catholicism, and we are exploring each and every word of the doctrine of the apostles as found in the Acts of the Apostles 2 verse 42, which is the creed, the brief formulas of our church. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please consider subscribing so that you won't miss any of the videos that we'll be doing in the future, because all our videos are dependent on the videos that we will have posted on the last episode. So thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you very much for subscribing. Continue subscribing and do not forget to hit the notification button. Please share our videos, like our videos, and comment on the section below. So next time that we are going to meet, we are going now to talk about the word believe. We now have a sense of what this word I means. It means a lot than what we think. It means a lot differently from what we use this word I when we are speaking to one another, when we are speaking to other creatures who are not divine creatures. So this is a language that we use. But when we are addressing God, it's going to be totally a different language with a different meaning. Although it's the same words, the same sentence, the same phrases. Let us meet next time when we talk about the word believe.